we'll talk about rates. Rates are comparisons of two numbers with different types of units. For example, if I have 12 feet in 5 seconds, it is simply 12/5. The way you can also write it, feet per second. Now, you try to simplify the fractional part, and in this case you can either leave it at 12/5 or you can change it into 2 and 2/5 feet per second. Now, let's talk about what a unit rate is. The unit rate is the numerical value, and if it is, that's the numerical value that's followed by units that is written in fractional form. So since this is in fractional form, 2 and 2/5 feet per second, 2 and 2/5 is simply the unit rate. Let's try another one. 45 miles for 1 gallon of gas. And this is your mileage. If you can, it's kind of a high mileage. And you can also write it as 45 miles per gallon. And it is simply a rate, and it's actually a unit rate. Let's talk about another one. $45,000 in 1 year. This is somebody's salary. You can also write it as $45,000 per year. Okay, now let's go to the next area. If you have a situation where you need to simplify the fraction, you go ahead and do it. For example, 450 points. Oops, let's try it again. 450 points in 45 games. This is acting up. Let's start over again. Okay, here we go. 450 points in 45 games. All right, if I want to write this, I will write it as 450 over 45 points per game. Now, this 450 divided by 45 is simply 100. You go ahead and simplify it. 100 points per game, which is the unit rate. All right, so let's try another example. When you want to compare, for example, two different buys, it's very common to compare the unit price. For example, I want to do a shampoo comparison. On one bottle, it says $7.89, and the bottle is 4 ounces big. The other bottle says it is $8.12, and that bottle is 5 ounces big. So what you do is you go and you calculate the unit price. So you have $7.89 in 4 ounces. When you go and you calculate that number, you'll get $1.97 per ounce. You go do the same thing with the other buy. $8.12 or $8.12 for 5 ounces. You simply go and divide, and that is going to give you $1.62 per ounce. You look, which one is a better buy? You're actually paying a lot more with the $7.89 shampoo. Okay, $1.97 per ounce. So you would go ahead and you buy the cheaper one if they are similar in quality. You can see other examples of the same type. For example, you paid $36.45. Let's ignore the taxes at this point. For 3 yards of fabric, what would be the price per yard? So how do you do that? $36.45 divided by 3 yards, and that is simply $12.15 $12.15 per yard. So that is the dollar amount per yard that you buy. Or sometimes somebody gives you an example like, what is the rate if you travel 69 feet in 3 seconds? Well, you simply go and divide 69 feet in 3 seconds. That gives you 23 feet per second. That is your rate. Or another example, you travel 500 miles with 15 gallons of gas. Go ahead and divide 500 divided by 15. That is around 33.3, and that is miles per gallon, which is the mileage. So there are many examples. You can also leave this as the fraction. Let's say 500 divided by 5, that's 100. And 15 divided by 5, that's 3. You can also write 100 over 3 miles per gallon.